Recently, I uploaded a video about the 3 starter decks that you start with in LoR, and ever since then, I was wondering if there might be another deck that is cheap, simple, and fun to play. And then it hit me. After recovering from my concussion, I was browsing Mastering Runeterra and found this gem, a Yasuo Leona deck running only 2 copies of both of these champions, with basically only cheap cards in it. So, without further delay, let me introduce one of the most refreshing starting decks I've played in a while. Yaona, also known as You May Not, Get Stunned Bitch. Now, you might be thinking, okay, another starter deck Dunaram. What are you on about? Did you see the last video did well and want more of that cake? And I tell you, yes but no. Believe me, this is actually great fun. If you're not in the business for any beginner decks but rather want to see some quote-unquote real decks, still stick around as I will also show 1 or 2 variations to this deck that are decent upgrades. So, without any further delay, let's get this party started. We'll have a quick look at what we're running, what our core is, how to upgrade this deck, and some gameplay at the end, so you can convince yourself that this deck is actually fun and good. Shortly after the game was launched, Leona and Yasuo lived in harmony. Their combo being quite simple. You stun, you deal damage, you kill, but over time this deck was forgotten. People wanted fast decks, more control-heavy decks, or funny cheeses. As a result, Leona faded into nothingness, only reappearing with the daylight aggression type decks we see nowadays, and Yasuo disappeared into obscurity. But after playing this deck a bunch, just like the 90s, I believe it's time for a renaissance. Our core is rather simple. We run a bunch of recalls and a bunch of cheap daylight cards to get even more stuns, and therefore more value from Yasuo. With Yasuo and sneaky Z-builds, you have a very decent early mid-game clear. With the Zenith Blade, you have a very decent way to finish your opponent off, and on top of that, we're running a bunch of survival spells for our champions. On top of that, we have a lot of lifesteal, which should always suffice in letting you survive, and a lot of early units such as Solar and Shield Bearer that will always be great, no matter which deck you're playing. The most obvious problem with this deck is a lack of denies against hard removal, and a lack of the third copies of Yasuo and Leona, which you can easily fix though if you want to spend a few more essences by getting rid of some snappers and the likes. The other obvious option here would be upgrading this deck in its entirety, which of course can also be done, but only with a hefty price increase, so be warned. If you're new to the game, start with the beginner deck, and if you really like that one, maybe consider upgrading after a while. The advantages with upgrading would be a more developed Daybreak core, which is always welcome, as this makes the deck a bit more consistent, and some more copies of more expensive units you might not be able to craft right away. So enough for the theory part, and let's get started with the actual gameplay. Lastly, if you have enjoyed the video so far, please consider subscribing. This channel is quite small at the moment, but I really hope we can get to 100 subscribers till the end of the year. Keep the Yasuo. Got a somewhat decent starting hand. Leona in our starting hand is great. Yasuo in our starting hand is great. That in our starting hand, not so much. Inspiring Mentor, I can see that being decent. We have no 3 drops, so just go with the Blade, whatever. What are we actually playing against? Oh, okay. We'll go with the +1 for Yasuo, because he's gonna strike units in the later time of this matchup, as the starting hand hasn't been that good. Which is good for us, good, that's just gonna delay the whole tentacle disaster by a bit. Playing Spirits Unleashed with Allowing. I don't think that's the best thing you can go for, but I mean, getting a flat +1/+1 on every tentacle, not that bad, I guess. I can see why he does it. We'll go with the Yasuo now. Shouldn't be any danger of him dying. Maybe he's gonna play another Spirits Unleashed here. Would be annoying, not the end of the world though. We'll see. Yep, there's the next Spirits Unleashed. As said, not great, not the end of the world. We just kind of need to make sure that, you know, the Yasuo doesn't die, and I think we're in a very decent situation here. Just shove 6 face damage here, which we do get for free basically. We'll go with the Leona next. And if he's not playing anything, we're not playing anything. Right, I don't like wasting mana that much. I'll go with that. Gotta recall if there's any strong tentacles out that we don't want to deal with. Revna. Oh, it's a Revna deck. I don't know how to feel about that one. You know, I actually do know how to feel about that. Not feeling too good about it. Can kill him rather sooner than later. We can actually kill him this turn depending what he has in hand. Go with that. Killing the Revna. He's forced to play something now if he wants to or not. We can stun both of the, or whatever he's playing at that point with the 7. Okay, kills that, not great. Not the worst ever though. As of now he still dies. Let's see, he needs to play some blocking units or like more spells to, you know, deny more of the board. Don't get to Daybreak now. Not the end of the world though. I don't think we should be too concerned about leveling up Leona in this matchup, just because if this goes on for too much longer we're screwed anyways. So, you know, I'm rather keen on finishing here early here. And I think not going for the Daybreak here is gonna make that possible. Because as I said, we're baiting him here. Plays a unit now, we stun it, we attack, he's dead. He's spending too much spell mana, he can't even Frostbite. And I definitely imagine he's gonna be running Frostbite. Hopefully no FTR. Might actually be FTR on that deck. Guess we will find out. If he's not playing anything now. Okay, that is a spell. Maybe Avalanche? Be kind of not choice though. We don't get, you know, all of the value we would want to get, but we still get to attack now. I don't actually know anything about the lore between Yaona and Yasuo. Pretty sure it has been one of the most memed stuff in forever, basically, but yeah, I still don't know about it. Let's see if he has a way to wipe the board now. Avalanche wouldn't be good enough by itself. Allowing a Void. 2 mana does not Yeah, suffice. And he's dead. Okay, our gamble worked. Fine, just fine. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you had a fantastic day so far. If you want to see another starter deck getting upgraded, maybe consider watching this video right here.